Yep, that's perfect. And one towards us. Everybody else too. You want to start in the middle here? Thank you.
This way, please. Everybody. Here, please.
So yes, now please introduce this part and we keep
Get together and again, a little bit forward. And middle camera, please. Central camera, right here. Right here.
I am over here, please. Up here, please.
Together.
Yeah. Thank you. And for me, please.
So now we do individuals. You two please come here. She stays first.
Back to the center, please. Center again.
Little bit smile to the right.
So change this please.
Yep. Perfect. Want to center this camera? Right here.
And to the right, please. To the right, look up, please.
Much more to the center. From here, please. Yeah, perfect. Nice.
Now to the right, look up, please.
I am up again. Are you coming in?
One more, look up to the right.
And to the center again.
Your head, please.
To the center again. Yep.
Can you do the rest, guys?
Please stay in the center.
And to the right, one smile. Yeah, great.
Nice.
And here, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Berlinale. We are very happy to start the press conference of the beautiful film, Green Light. If you need any subtitling or any translation, you can please go to the entrance to get your headsets. I will start by introducing our amazing guests, and I would like to remind also everyone that the film will have its world premiere tonight at the Zoo Palace. Let's welcome our guests from the very far left. Yi Young, who plays the role of the lady with the green hair. Next to her, doesn't need an introduction, Han Bingbing. And for the second time at the Berlinale, who was here also before with the film and who won an award, was in Generation K+, the director Han Shuai. I will start by asking questions, and I will hand it over to you, but it looks like we have already questions from the audience, so maybe I will start with your questions. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Ling Xin from Deutsche Welle. I have a question for Ms. Fan and Ms. Li. Many actresses and female judges this year speak up for women and women's rights, and they called out this Jinjam Azadi, women, life, freedom, the slogan of Iranian women's protest. So the film you starred in is also centered actually mainly on the plight of women. So would you like to share some thoughts on this aspect? Thank you.
First.
네, 제가 먼저 대답드리겠습니다. 일단 저도 봤거든요. 그 이란 운동 일환이었던
I'll start and answer first.
그것을 봤는데 굉장히 이번에
I saw a demonstration of people talking about this Iranian movement on the red carpet. And at this Berlinale, there are a lot of wonderful actresses. I was very aware of that.
오게 되었는데 거의 끝 부분으로.
And I'm delighted that we, as the Green Light team, can in a sense put the finishing touch to that. We have our premiere tonight, and I must say, I'm very nervous and excited about that. I'm delighted that films like this do have an opportunity to be screened, and I hope you'll enjoy the film too.
Okay. Fan, do you want to answer?
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank you for your question. Thanks very much. If we look at the film as a whole, it's about two women who are redeeming each other. And in real life, women face a lot of things that make them happy and unhappy, things that go well, things that go badly. The way I see it, during any time period, we are the only ones who can really help ourselves. We can't rely on other people, whether other people means men or women. When you run up against something bad, you're the one who has to speak up for yourself, and we are the ones who have to help ourselves out. Thank you.
Go ahead, sorry.
I have a question for Fan Bingbing. I'm from BZ, a German newspaper. 5 years ago, you were missing for 3 months, and nobody knew about how you are. And I want to ask, how do you feel about this time?
We're going to keep the question related to the film, if that's okay. We'll move to the next question, please.
没事， No, it's fine, it's fine. I was at home, and I'd like to thank all my fans worldwide for being concerned about me. Now, I was at home, I was dealing with some things, but, everybody's life has highs and lows, and when you reach a low, you steadily, gradually climb back up again. And it's a tough process, but you learn a lot of new things at the same time. And you learn a lot about the world, a lot about people. And for me, it was a very good experience in retrospect. So thanks very much for the question, and everything's fine with me now.
Next question. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask you, Bingbing, in 2007, you brought the film Lost in Beijing to Berlin in competition. Now you're here with Green Knight, back at the Berlin Film Festival. How does that feel? And what's it like now for you to act on screen? In 2007, I was here with Lost in Beijing. It was my first time in Berlin, and I found it to be a very relaxed atmosphere. That was my first time here. And at the time, it was one of my most priceless memories. And I'm back a dozen or so years later, and it's like a restart for me. So I think, okay, acting is something that I'll probably be doing for my whole life. I'm going to stick at it. Wherever I am, whoever I'm playing, these will all be things that I want to do. And I'd like to thank all friends around the world for your support, and I hope to be able to play lots more different types of parts, and I hope to bring that to you in the future.
Building up on Fan's answer and also the question related to the movements about supporting women in film, and you've been here before with another film, and your protagonists, your main characters, are very powerful and mysterious women to a certain extent that we get drawn to from the very beginning. If you can tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind writing these strong characters and the inspiration behind the film as a whole.
For director, yeah.
Well, the screenplay was completed quite quickly. And like the film itself, which it was something that happened very quickly, just like a dream. The two female protagonists are both quite mysterious. Jin Xia, who's played by Fan Bingbing, her mystery starts to come out in the mid to latter part of the film, where we find out about what she went through as a child. Now, the green-haired girl, on the other hand, is a sort of mysterious interloper from the beginning. So what I wanted to do is have two completely different women, but equally mysterious, as the centerpiece of this creation. Now, this is partly influenced by my first work, which was called Summer Blur, because I like this idea of having the two female protagonists. We often talk about the idea of brotherhood and all that it means, but people maybe don't do enough about sisterhood. Sisterhood is maybe an even better way of writing, and so I basically sort of carried on with that concept that I had back then. And these two women support each other. They go along with each other, but they're very different at the end of the day.
Hello, it's Natalia Zhuk from Ukrainian web media Movie Cram. I've got two questions. And first I want to thank you for the movie because I was not acquainted with your works before, but now it's one of my favorite movies and I would follow you and watch everything that you did before. So my first question is about the symbolism of small things like colors and gestures, because we have the green-haired girl, we have the white shoes, we have the white dog. These small details do play a lot. Could you speak a bit about that, how you created it? And the second is more philosophical. When I was watching it, I was wondering if it is paramountly important that these two creatures are women and their like aggressive masculine side is depicted by men, or if it might be like the same story but non-gender related, because nowadays on the one hand we have still this dichotomy female male, on the other hand we sort of have a lot of non-toxic male and alas still some toxic females. So how important it was to divide it by gender. Thank you.
Well,
let me answer the second question first of all. I went intentionally a bit radical with the narration because, you know, women in things they experience, and especially in crime films, they tend to be in more of a passive role. But you don't have that same requirement placed on male characters in films. So, you know, when somebody loses it, when they get angry, they can resist. And it's not always just about it being in self-defense. So for me, it's about the female protagonists deciding to be active in the way they respond to everything they've gone through. It's not unimaginable. And why is it not out of the imagination? And so I look a bit at that. Now, you talked about the question of realism in the film. I quite intentionally went for some symbolic elements. I wanted to have some non-realistic emotions appearing in an otherwise realistic story or plot, and it happens over a fairly short time span. I wanted that to happen. So I used some subjective, perhaps symbolic approaches to achieving that. So I may not have answered your whole question, but this is, you know, my subjective view of the film. So your first question was about details, right, and their symbolic meanings? Okay. Well, women in ordinary life have eyes that notice a lot of those small details. It's a very natural thing for them to notice them. And you know, details are kind of the life of this film. I think that the little details in the film are the really interesting thing for me, and you know, I think that everybody can see that the meanings they represent. Now, some are, you know, hair, shoes, or green fingernails, or bare feet, the things that they mean for women. Now, these things for me are very beautiful symbols. Now, others are symbols of resistance. So, you know, when creating all the male roles, for example, I wanted to have a poppy red color on their bodies in some place. So that was a little detail that I worked with my artistic director. You might not have noticed it first time round, but a lot of what we want to express comes through these little details, and that's a part of the way that we work.
This is a question for Han Shuai, but also maybe for all of you, about film in China and Hong Kong. There are a number of big titles at this festival from China and Hong Kong for the first time in a number of years. Why is that? Does it relate to also the easing of the lockdowns in China?
我觉得其实不光是就是大家在关注这件事情，我们也在关注这件事情。
You're not the only ones who have been following that very closely. We've been following it closely too. This year's Berlin Film Festival has a lot of film crews who have come here, and it's very lively, much more so than the previous few Berlinales, and to some extent we see that as a sign of recovery. People bringing their best films to Berlin and sharing them with the audience here. Now, you can see films here from China and Hong Kong, China. If we talk about Chinese language films, they are all very modern, and we are happy to be one of those, and it's a great honor for us. Yeah, and we can see if Fan Bingbing has anything to add. Well, what we hope for is here. Now, past few years, the world was suffering under the pandemic, and that was something that led to all kinds of difficulties, stresses, and so on. But as the pandemic continues to recede and things get more back to normal, we have more sources of mental strength. Mainland films and Hong Kong films are all Chinese films. They're all films from China, and we have Chinese language films taking their place on the world stage, and that's something that's very exciting for anyone in cinema or in the arts more generally, for me too. Now, I think this process of starting again is a process imbued with a lot of hope, and I hope that during this film festival, I hope that you can enjoy some of the different things that Chinese language films can offer you.
네. 저 같은 경우도 이번에 베를린에 처음 초청되었기 때문에 감독님한테 사실 어제 식사 자리에서 여쭤봤어요.
Well, this is the very first time that I was invited to the Berlinale, and I asked my director how it was last year, if it was very different this time around. She told me that things were much more normal this year. There are larger audiences, there are more film teams, more guests. That's what she told me yesterday over dinner. And I can feel this positive energy, this festival ambience. I was in Cannes last summer. That was a big event for me as well, so I'm delighted to be in Berlin this time around. You need to have lots of people at a festival. That's part of the whole picture. I just arrived here yesterday morning. I took a look around Berlin and got a sense of the Berlin vibe. I really enjoyed that. I look forward to the next few days.
My name is Mahari Sagit, Africa Refugee News. Welcome back. Do you still have that white, beautiful dress that you had when you came for No, she had a beautiful dress. But my question is about the film. This is the first time. I saw the film 3 weeks ago. It's the first time I see that a girl coming from mainland China to Hong Kong and meet a girl in Hong Kong that she was a punk. And I wanted to know how you got in this story, because it's powerful.
Well, let me explain here. She travels to Seoul in Korea, not Hong Kong, and she gets to know, it may have been a slip of the tongue, she gets to know a Korean girl there. Now, your use of the word punk, I think, is actually very accurate, because when we were thinking about the plot, one source of inspiration was that, and I wanted to film a very fast-moving story. Our director of photography called it a one-night film. So we wanted it to be very fast-moving, almost like a dream, a punk-style film. So in terms of form, that was something that inspired me right at the beginning. Now, moving to
就是也许他在
girls in film, and they
柔弱的，但是他的
have a very strong stage presence in film. That their bodies may be weak, but they have a lot of energy about them. And I think my two main actors and perhaps myself too,
就是要做一个有力量的电影，有一个非常
we all wanted to make a film that had a lot of power to it. We weren't going to go for a safe choice, something that would make the audience comfortable. I'm probably never going to make a film like that.
也许有很多很多的问题，也许
Now,
有很多大家
instead,
有人喜欢，有人不喜欢。
this is a film that, it may lead to a lot of questions. Some people may like it, some people may not like it, but I think it is a film that does have power.
各位主创好，我来自
Hello, I'm from Daltong or Directive. I'd like to ask Han Shuai a question. Last time, you were here in Berlin with the film Summer Blur, and the protagonist was a young girl. Now, this time you have two adult women. I'd like to ask about what the difference is between working with adult and child actresses and pro and amateur actresses. Not a bad question. I'd like to see what my two lead actresses thought of me in that process. It's very different for me in the sense that I've never previously worked with such professional and experienced actresses as this time, especially when we speak different languages. So there were a lot of surprises in it for me. In the previous film, I had 4 protagonists who were all under the age of 15. So I had to sit down with them every day and explain to them, we're going to do this today, and that's what we're going to shoot. So it was a different kind of challenge, but children give you a lot of surprises. They bring a lot of truth to the table. This time I've been working with 2 extremely professional actresses. That's been a different kind of surprise for me. Firstly, they gave me about 90% of the preparation, and I just had to work with them on the remaining 10% and sort of adjust a few things. And I had to make sure that they riffed off each other.
就是能变得不一样的，就是因为其实对于职业的演员，非常有经验的演员来讲，
experienced professional actresses,
拆除他们身上的脚手架。
problem more is just not being typecast. They wanted to do something different here. They're like sort of fully built buildings. How do you get the audience to feel that they're different when they perform a different role? That's more of the challenge here. So working with Fan Bingbing, she was working mostly in a language that isn't her mother tongue, so that sort of forced her into a new mode of performance, especially using much more of a physical performance. Now, I like a film of Lee Ju-young's called The Baseball Girl, and she plays a very introverted but very tough girl. And she shows her sort of almost animal-like, almost crazy energy. Now, I think this film was a new challenge for her this time round. So they were both doing something different, and I was trying to get them to bring out something else this time. And so I'd like to see what Lee Ju-young and Fan Bingbing thought of working with me this time round. I'm probably not the average director. Well, yeah, you've taken the words out of my mouth, really. You talked about sort of getting me out of my normal frame. Yeah, I was basically a heap of rubble by the end of the shooting. Now, people like to see me playing a particular role, but I tend to always be with female directors. I don't know why, actually, but the me that women directors see is a different me. And we seem to have a particular chemistry every time. So working with Han Shuai this time round, we got on very well, and we tended to see a lot of things the same way. She is a very rigorous person, although she has a very sort of delicate exterior. You're never going to
拍了多少条，是一遍就过吗？还是还
change what she is
有
inside.
一些发挥，还是怎么样？然后我说我们基本上每一条
People
可
have
能
asked
都要有
me,
一个7、8遍，10遍。这样子的一个过程，
Did you reshoot a lot of scenes? Basically, we had to shoot everything 7, 8, even 10 times because she wants everything to be very, very accurate when we shoot. Now, there's the language issue as well. I had to speak Korean, and then we sort of mixed bits of Chinese, bits of Korean. So sometimes the performance was right, but the language side wasn't good enough, or vice versa.
所以在这个过程里面，就是我跟朱茵不断的
that involved a lot of working together, of getting used to it with Li Zhuyang. And, when Zhuyang and I were in our best state, we were finally able to do it. So, she's talked about getting experienced actresses to do something different. And I hope that we can bring you this time something that you haven't seen before. And I tried to support Han Shuai in what she was trying to do there. And I hope that once you've seen the film, you'll find it a bit different.
네. 저는 사실 이 작업을 제의를 받고 나서 바로 막 엄청 자신 있게 감독님한테 제가 해보겠습니다 이렇게 말씀 못 드렸었어요. 사실 내가 잘 할 수 있을까 이런 걱정이 사실 먼저 들었었는데 그래서 일단 회사에 감독님을 만나게 일단 해달라라고 해서 감독님을 만나 뵙고
I had a meeting organised, then I got this meeting set up so as to get to know the director, and then when I met the director I thought, okay, I can work with her, and I decided that I would take this
빈빙
part.
배우님이 함께 하실 거다라는 얘기를 들었었고 그래서 되게 생각하지 못했던 조합, 생각하지 못했던 케미스트리가 나올 수 있지 않을까라는 생각을 많이 했었고
I hadn't expected there would be such fantastic chemistry. I was very much looking forward to shooting, and while we were shooting the film, I'm sure you realise that we have very different cultural backgrounds, and of course we also speak a different language.
어느 순간부터는 우리가 뭐 다른 언어, 다른 국적,
That's why I
다른
had to really rely
문화라는
on the
것은
director, but there was one point
문제거리가
where we
되지
completely forgot that we speak different
않았던
languages,
상황이었던
that we
것
come
같아요.
from different cultures.
되게 오랜만에 어떤 작품 하나를 마쳤는데 너무 이상한 감정이 드는 것을 경험을 했었던 것 같거든요. 작년에 저희가
I must
촬영을
say
다
that when
마쳤을
the
때
principal photography ended, I had
우리가
a very
해냈다라는 감정과
strange
동시에
feeling. We shot last year,
굉장히 또 엄청난 것들을
and
우리가
we were
함께
glad
했다.
to have
우리가
achieved
해냈다.
the work, to have
이런
finished off the work. We really had the
그런
feeling
것과
we created
더불어서
something
참
marvelous
마음이
together.
이상했었던 것 같아요. 그리고 또 이렇게 또 첫
But I also
상을
felt strange when we
보이는 이
got to the end of
자리에서도
shooting, I have to
저는
say.
조금 기분이 계속 이상한 것 같아요. 네.
Today
너무
we're going
기쁜
to be
자리고 행복한
showing
자리이고 또
this
이렇게
film
세
for the very
분과
first time
같이 오게 돼서 저는
internationally,
영광스럽습니다.
and I feel a bit strange. I'm delighted though to be here with both of you.
We will take our last question. Go ahead.
Yes. 各位主创好，我是来自法国
Thank
华
you.
语媒体
Now,
南关
I'm from a
然后我想问
Chinese language media
冰冰
in
老师，因为刚才您提到
France. I'd like to ask a question to Fan
对
Bingbing.
于语言来说是您
Now,
的一
you've
个
mentioned
挑战
the
然后请问
language
除此之
barrier
外
in
对
shooting
您
this
来
film.
说
Apart
在
from
拍摄这
that,
部影片过程中最大的
when shooting the
挑战
film,
是什么
what was the other biggest challenge for you?
最大的挑战是
Biggest
我
challenge
5年没有演戏了。
was basically
在
that I
这5
haven't
年的过程当中，
acted
我
for
做了很多
5 years.
的
And in those 5 years, I've done a
但
lot.
是也一直想要找
But
到一个
I had still
故事，找到
always
一个
wanted
剧
to
本
find the right plot, the right
那
screenplay
个时候的心境
for
跟
my
感受可
next
以融合在一起。
step forward that allowed me
5年没
to
有拍戏，其实对一个
bring
演
my
员来
mental
说
state
其
and
实
my
很残
emotions
酷
to
的，
it. Now,
就是
it's quite cruel on you if you don't act for 5
表
years
演是我爱的事情。
because
对，但
I
是我有一
love
些
performing.
在过程当中，你在探索它，你在去尝试它，
But that involves
所以
a certain
在
amount
这
of
样的一个过程里
exploration
面，
and
其实对于我来说，我觉得
experimentation.
我很珍惜一个这样的
And
机会。
so, from
比
that
任
point
何
of
的
view,
时候都
it's
珍惜。
been a very
然后
precious chance for me, and more precious than ever
这
before.
个这个挑战对我来说，我觉得
And
我一
if we
定
talk about it
要用
as
自
a
己
challenge,
120%的能力，
I just felt
然
that
后
I had to
全身心地
use
去完成好这样的一件事情。
120% of
对得
my
起我自己，
ability
对
to
得起导演对我的这
do
份
it
信任，
right and
对
to
得起所有
repay
爱我的人。所以
the director
这是我最大的一个
for her
心愿。
trust in me.
所以今天
That
就
was
像朱茵
what I
刚才
wanted to
讲
do the
到了
most. Just
这
as Li
里，
Zhuyang has
我们可以把
said,
这部电影带给全世界的
we
人，
are bringing
是
this film to the whole
是我的
world
一个心愿，
today.
也是我
That
对自
is
己的内心的
that
一
has been
个
our wish,
一个
and
答案吧。
that is the answer that we have in our hearts for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us and for your questions. And thank you for the wonderful film. And good luck with the premiere tonight. We are looking forward to it. Thank you.
Could we have one more photo with smile for Wikimedia Film Woman project, please? Thank you.
冰冰老师。 Hello, hello, hello. 冰冰老师，冰冰老师。可以再亲热一下吗？谢谢冰冰，谢谢冰冰。可以再亲一下吗？可以再亲一下吗？谢谢冰冰老师。